The kiwi bird, a pear-shaped, flightless, nocturnal bird. They are closely related to emus, cassowaries, rheas, and ostriches. These drawings are not to scale though. These birds range from 1.5 meters to 2.5 meters, while the kiwi is about the size of a household chicken. You can see that they all have some similar physical features, but kiwis are unique. They are the only birds in the entire world to have nostrils at the tip of their long beak. These small little nostrils allow them to sniff through the forest to hunt for their food. There are a total of 5 species of kiwis: brown kiwi, great spotted kiwi, northern brown kiwi, little spotted kiwi, and Okarito brown kiwi. Depending on the species, they can weigh from 4.3 pounds up to 11 pounds. Kiwi birds are endemic to New Zealand, meaning that by nature, they are only found in one region in the entire world. They are New Zealand's national bird and are loved by many people. In New Zealand, kiwi birds are primarily found in dense forests, farmlands, scrublands, grasslands, and some can even be spotted along the seashore. What roles do kiwis play in the environment? Well, depending on the availability of food, their diet may consist of insects, larvae, earthworms, beetles, fruits, and forest vegetation. As kiwis feed on invertebrates, they play an important ecological role as they are predators for crop-eating pests. They eat away the pests to increase the crop's chances of survival. Additionally, kiwis are the prey for many mammalian predators such as stoats, ferrets, possums, rats, cats, and dogs. I will talk more about these predators in a bit, so let's just put them to the side for now. Now that we know more about kiwis, let's talk about their status. In 1995, kiwi birds were listed as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, the IUCN. Then, since 1998, there have been an ongoing 2% decline in the bird's population size each year. Then finally, in January of 2020, a news report was published stating that because of the continual increase in predators and changes of abiotic requirements, kiwi birds are at risk of extinction, with a current population size at approximately 68,000 kiwi birds remaining on the planet. Let's dive deeper. What are the main ecological factors that have been negatively affecting the population size of kiwi birds in New Zealand, causing them to go extinct? Remember the folder of predators that I mentioned previously? Well, let's take them back out. These predators are actually all alien species that were introduced to New Zealand by the Europeans back in the 1700s. Non-native species have been observed to threaten the biodiversity of native plants and animals. Additionally, researchers have observed that new species tend to replace the existing species. There were once millions of kiwis present in New Zealand, however, with the introduction and increase of these invasive predators, competition for resources and land also increased. And also because kiwis are the prey for these predators, their population size is steadily declining. We can look at this interaction as a top-down control. The population of the predators are increasing while the population of the kiwi is decreasing, causing the invertebrates and plants that kiwis feed on to increase. To further understand the negative effects of these non-native species on kiwi birds, let's try to visualize it. Say that you have 20 kiwi eggs in the wild. Roughly 50% of these eggs will fail to hatch because of the disturbance of predators. Then for the 50% that do survive, approximately 90 of the chicks do not survive past 6 months because of predators. The remaining 10% of the chicks make it to 6 months, but less than 5% actually reach adulthood. Now that we've seen how these invasive predators have been negatively affecting the kiwi population, let's take a look at the changes in abiotic requirements. There is no doubt that the Earth is currently experiencing climate change. During the recent summers in New Zealand, there have been various droughts due to temperature increase. These hot summers threaten the Kiwis as they struggle to stay cool and suffer from dehydration. When Kiwis are dehydrated, they exhibit disorientation, making them more vulnerable to predators. Additionally, the dry weather conditions delay their breeding season, reduce the amount of eggs laid, and limit their ability to care for their offspring, thus decreasing the population size. Finally, to explain how the Kiwi birds are at risk of becoming extinct, let's look at the equilibrium theory of island biogeography and stochasticity. New Zealand is an island country. It is about 4,155 kilometers from Australia, and the surface area of New Zealand is about 268,2100 kilometers squared. Although that is a lot of surface area, New Zealand is still an island and is surrounded by water. Therefore, there are only so many species of animals that can disperse and establish in New Zealand. The equilibrium theory of island biogeography regarding New Zealand can be described as this. As new species are introduced onto an island by humans, the space for species will fill up and eventually there won't be any more room. This is described as reaching an equilibrium where the rate of immigration and extinction is balanced. According to this theory, if there are more species, we will then see an increase in species extinction as well. Distant islands such as New Zealand should have lower species immigration rates. However, majority of the predators were introduced by humans, increasing the rate of immigration. This increase in predation increases the risk of a small Kiwi population size to go extinct. Stochasticity can further explain why small populations are more susceptible to extinction. Stochasticity is defined as the random changes of the relative abundance of species. Because stochasticity is random, it makes these effects hard to predict. I'm going to use a model to show how smaller populations are at a higher risk of going extinct. It starts with environmental stochasticity such as fires, increase in predators, and disease. There can also be demographic stochasticity, where there is a higher mortality rate for one gender. Genetic drift and inbreeding depression can also occur. All these factors then lead to a loss of genetic diversity of the Kiwi birds, which further results in a decline in individual fitness, resulting in less offspring and increase in mortality, which leads to extinction. These events can also be described as an extinction vortex. Knowing that the Kiwi is endangered and might become extinct is extremely sad, but to lighten up the mood, there are a few ways that conservation organizations and the government are doing in hopes to restore the Kiwi population. Because there is such a high mortality rate for Kiwi eggs, people have been taking the eggs and incubating them in a safe place and rearing them in captivity before releasing them back into the wild. The New Zealand government has also set aside $11.2 million for Kiwi conservation to save their loved and treasured national bird. There is also a plan called the Predator Free 2050, which they are aiming to remove all the invasive species off of New Zealand to protect all of the country's unique animals so that they are no longer vulnerable to the predators that were introduced to the country years ago. To learn more about the Kiwi bird, here are a list of references that were used for this video. I have also put the references in the description box below. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.